Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Real Talk Journeys of Resilience and Success. And today we are on episode 65. So, the topic today is faith, family, and freedom. So, redefining success with Jonathan. And our guest today is Jonathan Shivkar. But before we dive into our topic, let me introduce myself. So, hi everyone, my name is Sandy. I'm originally from Panama, but currently residing in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. I also work in the movie industry, and I'm a proud digital business owner and mentor. I also want to remind you that every Tuesdays and every Thursdays we have our live webinar. So we have one tonight. So if you want to learn how to start your online business and start earning online, all you have to do is register into my website that appears on the screen with your name and email address, and I'll send you that invitation to watch the webinar. When you register into my website, you will receive an email that will contain two links. So the first one is to register to the webinar. So that one will take you to a page that will have two buttons, one for Tuesday and one for Thursday. So you can register for either one or for both. The second link that you get there is the link to the replay of the live webinar. So just in case you cannot attend to the live webinar, that's not a problem. You can always catch the replay and watch it from the comfort of your own home. In addition to that, I also invite you to our private Facebook group where you get to see more success stories from members of our community and more information about the business. So you're probably wondering, okay, so what am I going to find out on the webinar? On the webinar, you're going to find out how our online business plan works. And also you get the opportunity to hear from the panelists, which are members of our community, who will be sharing with you why they decided to start their online business and how this online business has transformed their lives. So let's find out who are the hosts and panelists for tonight's live webinar. So tonight's host is going to be Lydia, and she's a job quitter. So congratulations to Lydia for being a job quitter. And our first panelist is Brutika. She's a telemarketer. We have Mary Shield, an online business owner. We have Karma, a realtor. We have Chico, a former educator. And we have Habibat, an online business owner. So as you see, we have all different walks of life, but they all have something in common, and that is, they decided to take that leap of faith to change their life and their family's life. So if you're watching tonight's live webinar, our live webinar has subtitles in 5 languages. That's Spanish, French, Tagalog, Vietnamese, and Arabic. And if you're catching the replay of tonight's live webinar, just in case you cannot make it for tonight's live webinar, that's not a problem. You can always catch the replay, and our replays have subtitles in several languages. Okay, so we well, we, I wanted to wish together, but I think I'm gonna wait for my guest because he's also in Canada, so we are gonna say it together. Um, So before I bring my guests, like I mentioned, we are on episode 65, so faith, family, and freedom. So redefining success with Jonathan. So and our guest today is Jonathan Shivkar. So before I bring him to the studio, I just want to introduce you to introduce him to you guys. Okay. So I'm so excited to welcome today's guest, Jonathan, a hotelier by profession and online business owner by passion. Jonathan began his journey while working full time, driven by a desire to find more time for his family and freedom beyond the 9 to 5 grind. So today he empowers other working parents to create income online through a simple automated system, showing them what's possible with faith, consistency, and the power of community. So, as a business owner and mentor, Jonathan's story is a powerful example of building a life on your own terms. So, get ready to be inspired by his journey of purpose and transformation. So, let's bring Jonathan to the studio. Hi,
Hey,
Jonathan. Thank you for coming.
well, hi, Sandy. Thank you for having me here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. But I was going to wait for you is because we want to wish everyone, all the Canadians that are watching, because today we are celebrating
Yes,
Happy Canada Day.
happy
So
Canada Day. Absolutely. I wish everyone actually in Canada and also, different parts of the world who are from Canada. A happy Canada Day. Absolutely.
Yes. So, um, I know that I did a little bit introduction about you. Is there anything else that you wanna add
Absolutely.
to
Yeah,
your?
sure, definitely. Firstly, thank you so much for having me on your page, having given me the opportunity simply to, just talk about my journey and everything about the business over here. Um, Obviously, first thing, I came into this business with way back, during the COVID times, where everything was very, uncertain. And in those days, in that time, obviously, I kind of, was laid out, and that's when I found the business, and it's ever since then it has been quite a wonderful journey. It's like touched so many things. I met wonderful people, and in fact, I was also able to learn systems that I never thought existed. Obviously, having an online business was something not uh, you know, in it didn't come up. Like I never thought I could have an online business, but by the grace of God, this thing really, I was able to see something through my friend who was doing this, and it just came at the right time for us, and for it just was a game changer by the grace of God. Yeah, that's pretty much about what it is, and ever since it's been a journey. Obviously, meeting wonderful people in the community and seeing what the community is all about. The trainings and systems have been excellent. And yeah, and the very fact that even though we don't know each other, but when thanks to the community, we're able to connect through this business, Sandy, and that's the beauty of this online business, basically.
Yes. And I totally agree with you. Like, I love this journey too. Yeah, because it's a journey that, yes, there's ups and downs, but that's the beauty of it, because along the way, you learn so many things,
Yeah,
and you get to know yourself even more, also. And you get to find out that things that you thought that you were not capable of doing it, then you are doing it.
yeah,
And things that you thought that you didn't like, and then suddenly you love, because the thing is, like, you never know if you don't try. So
that's right.
yeah, so thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's dive in into the questions.
yeah.
Okay, so let's go with the first question. Okay, so Jonathan, transitioning from a demanding hotel career to building an online business while working full time must have required a lot of resilience. So, what challenges did you face during that time, and what helped you to stay consistent and committed to your new path?
Uh, okay, Sunny. To tell you the fact, to tell you the truth. So the juggling was real. Obviously, when you work the 9 to 5 and also transit, working your business, the juggling is real. So initially, when you're doing it for the very first time, you are learning new systems. You're learning about the business. We all come from employee mindset. So obviously, none of us are business owners or know much about business. So firstly is your mindset, right? Clearing your mindset. Like obviously when you have an employee mindset it works very different, and then having a business mindset works different. So that was the first thing, to work on my mindset, what the business is all about, what it's teaching me, and what am I learning. Obviously when you work in the service industry, it's the long hours, and the juggle is real. Obviously you're working, you're coming back home, you have things to do at home, with kids and stuff. So finding time for myself initially was quite a struggle, but then I had to make uh, a commitment to myself. Like I have to give some time to this. I cannot be slacking. So obviously, finding that time, and once you're able to find that time for yourself, you automatically you know start working on that business, because you have something, you're building something, you're excited for that business of yours, and you want to do it because you want to see a future, you see your future self excelling in that. So that was it, obviously, those long shifts, obviously with with the kids, the schooling and all, and learning this new business, right? Learning the new systems was, kind of, it was not a struggle. It was just like a challenge, obviously. I say that to everyone. Like, say, for example, if you get a new job and you go to a new job, initially it's always a struggle, right? Like you're learning even though you have the experience, but still at a new place, everything is new, so it takes time, and you're learning that it involves a lot of patience. That's exactly what it is. And yeah, obviously, I had to keep reminding myself why I got into this. It's obviously for my family, for my kids, for my loved ones. um, and so, once I was able to find time for myself, like, just those couple of hours, like an hour and an hour and a half every day, it just helped me to get into the motion, and then, just kind of make myself a routine basically. And that's how I was able to, kind of work on this business.
Thank you so much for that. You mentioned a lot of nuggets on your answer.
Yeah,
One of the things that you mentioned, you're working on your mindset, and yes, um, and and yeah, there is a difference between employee mindset and entrepreneurial mindset, and that's something that we need to shift when we start a business, because now we are not an employee, we are like a business
yeah,
entrepreneur. So you have to start thinking as a business entrepreneur, and that's sometimes, it's kind of hard to
yes,
do that shift. So you really have to start working on your mindset, and so you can start shifting your perspective,
yes,
and seeing in a different way. um same, like, when I came to this business, I thought that I had a strong mindset, but this business proved me wrong.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
And I think it's not only like the online space, right? It's also the regular, brick and mortar business. I believe it's the same thing, right? The challenge is real, and obviously it's but how you work on those challenges and how you kind of face them. That's the beauty. Like sometimes success is always found in the valleys, right? It's
mhm.
not on the top. So how when you're deep down in the valleys, and how you kind of work on yourself, and just keep going. That's where the real success lies.
Yes. Yeah, I learned from that lesson that that you have to work on your mindset on a daily basis. It's
Right.
not as something that you work once and then you let it go. No. Because that's what happened to me, like, I well, because I encounter, along your journey, not only in the business, along your journey in life, you encounter some setbacks, and those setbacks teach you lesson, and that's how you start working on your mindset. But once we don't keep working on the mindset, it doesn't, when you encounter something a little bit challenging, then your mindset fails you. So
Yeah.
that's why you need to do, on a daily basis, working on the mindset. And that's what this business teaches us, how to do that. So, and then you see, finding the time. Yeah, and I think, that's something that, a lot of us, when we start on this journey, we struggle with, because well, it's something new that we add to our schedule.
Yeah.
And also, we're so used to, at work, what you're doing,
Yeah.
all your routine.
Yes.
But now you have your business.
Yes. So I
And
know, I totally understand. You have to make a routine for yourself. I'll be completely honest. There were times when I didn't follow that routine. There were times I slacked. It's human tendency, right?
mm,
But you don't. What I really feel is you shouldn't let that overtake you.
yeah.
But you have to kind of put a stop or cut it out somewhere, and be consistent in yourself. And you also have to remember why you're coming into this business, and what is the reason, and why you want to do it. So when you have these things in place, then you see that automatically, you will find the time for yourself to kind of work on this. We're not asking, obviously this business doesn't ask you that you have to spend 5 hours of your day doing
Mhm.
this. No, it's just when you find those pockets of time, you have to give yourself time. And just like anything else, when you spend time um, doing this, you will see those results.
Yes. Yeah, no, what I was going to say is that, yeah, we all, when we start this journey, for someone, like, there's some people that are very, yeah, structured, and they don't have problem with this. But most of us, that when we come to this journey, one of the first things that we struggle is time management,
Yeah.
because, it's something new that we add to our schedule. But It's not something that is not feasible. Like, you know, that's the beauty of having an online business. You know, you can fit it any time pocket during the
Yeah.
day, and you can do your business, and all you need is your cell phone or laptop and an internet connection. um, but it's just creating that habit, one, and two, creating working as you go on your journey, because
Yes.
it changes, right? So you have to be adaptable and flexible, that, you know, everything is not set as stone, because sometimes you have planned something and something comes up and then you have to modify.
Yeah.
So, but just to adapt as you go your time management, and then you find your better way to do your business. But
Yeah.
it's a working process.
Yeah.
But it's something that, you know, we all struggle at the beginning, but then we find our routine to be able to, that works for us, and then we're able to do our business.
That's right.
The other thing that you say, you you see your future, you know, like one of the things that kept you going, you know, in the moments, and you have been longer than me on this journey, but I totally resonate with you, because, you know, I also had my moment, you know, where I started to have those doubts, you know, because we're human, you know, we want to see results fast, but it doesn't happen that way. You know, everyone's journey is different.
Yes.
Some people, you know, they're able to get results fast, and some people, you know, a little bit later. But in reality, it all has to do with different reasons. Like some people is because, you know, they try businesses before, so they bring that experience into this business. Some people, you know, they have a strong why. They say like a strong why that make you cry. So when you have something like that, you know, really push you, you know, to go. And then you have the other ones that, you know, like we push, but, you know, we go at our own pace. Okay. So like you know, I also have my moments that I felt, you know, those doubts, you know, like, did I make the right decision? Will this work? You know,
Yeah.
um, so those doubts, but then like you know, I made reflected in my life, and also, you know, think about, you know, do I want to go back to where I was, you know, continue working until I'm 67? So that wasn't my case. You know, I wanted to be able to retire early, to be able to be there for my Asian parents, you know, enjoy them now that they're independent, and then eventually we'll have to take care of them. Um so when you know you have a strong why, and you remember your why you're doing this, then that moment is the moment that it makes you, you know, realize that it takes a process from going from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So once you understand that process, and you remember that you have a strong why you're doing this, after that it's gonna be easier your journey, because you already went through that moment, you know, that moment that makes you reflect in your life, that, you know, you want to go forward and not backwards,
That's
you
right.
know, to where you were. Yes, along the way we might have another moments like that, but the difference here is that this time we know how to bounce back fast, you
Yes.
know. So that's the difference. So it is, yeah, that's why I say that, you know, I love this journey, because, you know, you really, I think, you know, the what we call the process is kind of like, you know, those endurance training that the
Yes.
soldiers going through to be
Yeah.
able to overcome the interrogation.
Yes.
Well, for us it's like, the mindset, you know, the mindset endurance that we have to go
Yes.
through to be able to reach where we want. um, but once we figure out, you know, how to do it, then the journey is going to be way easier, because you're going to be focusing on enjoying your journey, enjoying, you know, doing the things that you can focus on, that you can control on, instead of focusing on the things that you cannot control. And the thing is that one of the things that we have struggle is because we tend to control on the things that we can control.
Yeah.
and and we get motivated at first, but then we see that we're not getting results fast as we want.
Yeah.
That's what it then motivates us and then brings us down, and then eventually, you know, we stop showing up for our business. So that's why, you know, you have to focus on the things that you can control, which are like your training, you know,
That's
showing
right.
up for the Zoom meetings, you know, the mastermind, and all that. So you get plugged in into the system, work on your mindset on a daily basis, and show up for your business, content, and then you're gonna be able to overcome all that and enjoy the journey, because the journey is beautiful. Like I mentioned, yes, it has its ups and downs, but through those ups and downs, you get to find yourself, and you keep growing as a person, because those challenges, they make you grow, and then you learn, as a person, and you start becoming a leader because you're leading your team. So
Absolutely.
thank you for sharing that. Um, Let me see what else you took here. Oh yeah, patience.
Mhm.
That's another thing that I learned in this business. Um, yeah, the first thing, like, my two things that I learned in this business mainly, is mindset and patience.
Yes,
Um, Patience, like, again, like, we wanted to see results fast, but it takes patience.
yes,
And then patience also towards others, because everyone's learning is different, and
yeah,
depending on what age you're dealing with, you have to have patience.
that's right.
And again, I thought that I had patience when I came to this business, but this business proved me wrong.
Yes,
Um, so you have, it's been a learning curve to work on the patience, and many times, it's not only me, but also the person that you are helping also has to learn the patience. So
that's
it's
right.
like, when you are mentoring, it's you both are learning at the same time
Yeah,
in a different way, but you both learn it. So, and as they see you, they're seeing like you are having patience, and they say, okay, I have to have patience,
that's right.
because um, you are having patience with me, so I have to learn how to have patience, because a lot of people, they don't have patience, they want things fast like this, but they have to learn that, it takes time. So thank you for sharing that. And yeah, and I think, I think that's it. Yeah, we need to create a routine. You mentioned that too. And yeah, once you create a routine in your business, then you're gonna be able to have that structure in your business. And another thing that you mentioned was having your me time. Very important. And that's something that many times, when we work, we don't have that me time, and we just focus on working, giving, giving, but you don't get any me time, you don't recharge, you know. And that's why we need to allocate some time. So I'm glad that you're taking, 1 hour for you to be able to recharge, because it's very important to take care of ourselves, because that's what it will help us to recharge, to be able to have that energy to be able to continue on our business, on our work, on our with our family, you know. But yeah, you need to have that me time.
That's
So
right.
thank you for sharing that. Okay, second question for you. So you often talk about faith, consistency, and community as the pillars of your success. Can you share a specific moment where these three values carry you through difficult phase in your journey?
Yes. See, almost, I'll tell you that there was a moment almost where, I had those doubts. I just wanted to kind of quit. Obviously, when, things were not just going my way. What was really happening to me was, I was comparing myself with the success of others. Obviously, everyone's journey is very different. But I kept, looking at others and thinking, like, obviously you start this comparison and you wonder, like, what's working for them and why is it not for you? So, when you start comparing, it brings in a lot of doubt. It brings in a lot of, anxiousness, and, am I doing the right thing? Am I, is this even real, or is this even working? So when doubt creeps in, what you really need to work on is, or not work on, but rather, just have, faith. You have to have more faith in, obviously, you have to have faith in God. Um, and you have to have also, that, reasoning within yourself as to why you started this. Faith is very important. You have a reason why you've come into this. For me, it was in my lowest times when I found this business, and that is the reason why I'm in this business. So obviously, I had to keep reminding myself, like, this is for my family, and this is why I'm doing it. Even though I don't see the results right now, but I have to keep going in, because one day I will get the fruit of, what I'm doing. So obviously, I have to keep planting those seeds, and I have to just keep reminding myself. And obviously, I share this with my wife as well. And obviously, we've been praying, when things were not just going our way. But then, we realized like this is a journey, and it's a reason why, we've come to know this business, and how it's making, you see the success stories in the community itself. So, we have that faith, and we have that assurance that, it's worked for so many people, it will definitely work for us. And, by the grace of God, we're able to continue on this, and, simply, commit ourselves to, God, and to commit our journey, and, and just doing what we do, and just being faithful. And I believe, everything will work out. And that's how, this business is all about. Basically, you have to keep showing up for yourself, keep showing up for your family, and just have the reason as to why you started, and things will definitely work out. Even when it's not going your way, you have to keep showing up, basically.
Yes. Yeah, you share a lot of stuff. Yeah, like like I mentioned, I relate to your moments, because like we all have going through that. And you mentioned something very important. Yeah, and this, as a new business entrepreneur, uh we are new to this journey. We don't really know, about these kind of things, like
Yeah,
not to compare to others.
yeah,
And those are one of the first mistakes that we do in our journey. We tend to compare to others, but then we forget that they have been longer than us in the journey. um or like we mentioned before, they probably had, like already experience in some other business, and they brought it in, so that's why they started fast. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I do understand that, because those are the same things, like it happened to me, like the moment on the previous point that I shared. So I do understand you, what you went through. And yeah, like you mentioned, you have to have faith on God. So pray
yeah,
to him, to guide you, and remembering your why you started this. Because once you reflect on that, why is it that you started this journey, it will help you to go back in track
yeah,
and continue your journey. Yeah, but those are moments that we have to go through, and it's good if we go early in our journey.
yeah,
Because that way, we like I mentioned before, once we understand that, and we go through this the first time, it will be easier later,
yeah,
because you understand that process now.
yeah.
And like mentioned, yes, we're gonna have our moments, but the difference is here that we're gonna know how to bounce back really quickly. We're gonna have our moment to release those emotions, but then continue on our journey.
That's right.
Um, so thank you for sharing that. And then like those like for example, uh one of the journeys that I also, well, two of those moments that I shared before about the mindset and the patience, I was able to um bounce back, because the community,
Hmm.
because at that time, I had a friend from the community. For the patience one, it was patience on the business, because like I say, we tend to
Yeah.
mistake number one, have we want results really fast.
Yes.
And that doesn't happen that way. So my friend, she was ahead in her journey, and she already went through this, so she was able to help me, to understand that it takes patience to be able to succeed in this business. um, so it doesn't happen right away, so you just have to have patience with yourself, patience with the business, and patience towards other. So that was my first lesson, but like I say, I was able to bounce back because of a member of the community. And the other one was when I was starting my first ad, and it got disapproved,
Oh,
and that's when I say, like, I thought that, I had a strong mindset, but at that moment I felt, like devastated, it's like it was the end of the world, you know, another mistake of a rookie entrepreneur.
yeah,
But a lesson learned.
yeah,
So, but thanks to, another member of our community who was also, ahead on her journey, she was able to help me uh, go control my emotions and go back to find a solution, uh, and ask around in the community. So I think, one of the key here is, also, besides, praying to God, find going for a why, is also having that community. And that's one of the key. I think the community is one of the keys that help you to have success in this business, because many times, in other business, you don't have that support,
Mhm. Yeah,
you know or sometimes some people start this journey, and sometimes they don't get the support from their family. Like, we are blessed that we have our family that give
yeah,
us that support, but there's some members that they don't have that support, uh, because their family doesn't believe in the business. So it's really hard when you are trying something to do because you want to be able to have a better life for your family, but your family thinks that, that's a scam, that's not working, you're wasting your time. Those negativities coming towards you, um, it's really hard. So
mhm,
that's where the community plays a big
yeah,
role, because you are surrounded by people who have the same like mindset, who believe, in you, who believe that you can do it. Because we know this works, because we have seen so many people, be able to achieve the results, and how they went from, starting the business to, having that success. So there is a blueprint. So we just need to follow the blueprint, be patient, and then we're going to get there. But the community plays a big role when it comes to that, to getting that support that sometimes you don't get from home. But or like in situations like this, because many times, like in my case, I was lucky that I was with a friend from the community at the time that I had encountered that. And um and then that helped me, to be able to bounce back. But yeah, that's those are the two main things, that I went through. And then the other one that I went through, that one I was on my own. But is that's the moment where I reflected in my life, just like you, that I didn't want to go back to where I was. I
mhm,
didn't want to continue to live in that kind of life. I wanted a better life. I had a better perspective of what I wanted in my life and for my family. So because of that, knowing your why, and because of what I went through before, in those two events, I was able to assimilate and analyze and have a better result on the outcome of
mhm.
my situation. But these are things that we learn as we go. So that's why I
Yeah,
say, like, you find yourself along the way and you keep learning,
that's right.
and growing. So yeah. Okay, so question number 3. As a working parent and immigrant in Canada, what does true success mean to you today, and how has your definition of success evolved since starting your online business?
Yeah, so honestly, this is an interesting question because as we work in the 9 to 5s and all that, I know working our regular jobs, um, for us, or as for me as well, success always meant climbing the ladder. You know, the higher I go, is more successful I'll be. It's obviously everyone looks for that, but then when I've come into this business, I've realized that that's not what it is all about. It is just being present for your family, being there for your kids, having having those moments that you can have, say, your dinner with your family. That's success. Just being there, when you when they need you, like, say, in their school, or at just those daily times where you can spend time with them, and during the holidays and stuff like that. I believe that's what is success. It's just not, as we call it, climbing up the ladder, because yes, there is a ladder that you need to climb. Yes, there is, everyone has those ambitions, which is absolutely fine, but then every time you try to climb the ladder always keeps moving. So, how much are you going to climb? But then I realized, like, this business has really shown us the real definition is finding those moments where you get those moments with your family, spending time with your spouse. I'm so happy and glad I can spend, quality time with my wife. Yes, it is summer over here, and we're making the most of it. Going out for, our morning routine or morning walks. If you don't get those morning walks, in the evenings, that we can spend time together. And that's for me is now, what I call success, because I know I'm fortunate enough to get the time, and by God's grace, I'm fortunate enough to be there for my family. I know most of, so many of us are looking out for that time and don't have that. So for me, if you ask me what is success, obviously it is one of those. I have, I can work on my pace, I can work on my time, have that peace by God's grace and that freedom. And obviously, I also have another avenue that I can create an income from. And this is what, is all about basically. And yeah, that's what it means to me basically. And that's what I can tell you about, what it is, what success lies for me today. And the very fact that I can connect with so many in the community, I can share my story, and I can simply, tell people what this business is about, is what I also believe is, being successful. Yeah, and I
Mhm.
believe, like, obviously, as I've told in the previous interviews as well, like, this business is a gift. Like, I want to give this as a gift, and it's made a huge impact in our lives. It's so obviously that's why we want to share it with the others, and yeah, that's what it is all about.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, you mentioned a lot of nuggets. When you say that, like, yeah, it's true, when we are working, one of our success we see is, climbing up the ladder, going up, the rank. But what we don't get to see is that the higher you're going up the ladder, the less time you're gonna have, the more stress are you having, you know. Um, the time that you're supposed to be with your family, many times you're dealing also with work,
Mhm.
depending on the position.
But
So
well,
really,
I just like that. It is absolutely fine. It is absolutely fine. You have those ambitions to, climbing up the ladder, which is absolutely fine. It varies from person to person. And what I've just said is just, sort of my personal opinion. So I just, so if you are out there watching this and obviously you're looking out, for the next big step, which is absolutely fine. You could totally go ahead with it, but yeah. So what I've just said is just what I personally feel. So yeah, just putting out there.
yeah. Yeah, no worries. No, I'm just saying because me too, I started, in the film industry, I started from the bottom and going up
Oh,
the ladder. But as I went through, I realized that, there's more responsibilities, more stress. Um, and, like, even, like when I wasn't working, I was at home, I had to deal with stuff from work. So
hmm,
that's not the kind of life that, you really want to have, especially if you have a family,
yeah,
like if you're a single person, and you don't have anyone, then that's fine, if that's what you love. But if you have a family, you're missing all those family moments, those milestones that many, parents, and like we have some examples in our community where their kids now are grown up, but they kind of like regret not having those moments with their kids, because they focus on working. um, so eh, like you mentioned, that's one of the success that we used to look, going off the ladder. But then we realize, there's more into life than that.
hmm,
Like you and me, and many members in our community, for us is having that time freedom, that flexibility to be able to spend with our loved ones. In your case, you have small kids, you want to be able to be there, not missing any milestones from them,
yeah,
being present, like for example, like in the schools, they do have those events, and many times, because the parents are working, they're not able to attend. And kids, when they are in those presentations, they're looking through the crowd to look
yeah,
for their parents. So those are things that, is not like you will regret it if you're not there, and they will feel bad because their parents are not there.
yeah.
So those are the things. But yeah, I do agree that, For me, success was before that, like going up the ladder, the going up the ladder, that means that you make more money. But really, we were trading,
Time.
instead of working, having the money work for us, we were working for money, and we were
You're
trading
trading your
time.
time basically. Yeah.
Yeah, we were trading time, which, for that. So that's why, like, I was young, it was fine. But as I get older, I started to have a different perspective in life. And that's like you, I decided, that I wanted to have more time,
Hmm.
to be able to spend with my aging parents, to be there for them, because my lone working hours wouldn't allow me to do that. So, this online business will give you that time freedom, that flexibility, because, the business adapts to your schedule, not the other way around. And also, like you mentioned, building that financial stability. And that's the other thing, because like we say before, you want the money work for you and not you working for the money. So um on this business, this I just want to clarify, this is not a rich quick scheme. It
Yeah.
takes time to build it, but it is worth it, because if you kind of like analyze yourself, like working up to 67 years old, when you end up working, you're probably tired, maybe your health might not be good, you might not have enough money, because I mean, we can see, we have members of our community who are already retired, and why they started this business, because they don't have enough money to be able to enjoy retirement. So that's one of the reasons. But the other thing is that, you know um I lost my thought, but um we were talking about having that flexibility. I forgot what I was going to say.
And I believe, you spoke about the people in the community who are probably already retired.
Okay. Yes. So you want to be able to have, to build that financial stability, that you are able to enjoy now, no, not in the future, where
Yeah.
you don't know if you're gonna be able to enjoy it or not, or if you don't have gonna have enough money. So by doing it now, you're gonna be able to spend time. You're gonna be, if you love to travel, you're gonna be able to travel, but you know that you have that financial stability,
Yeah.
because it's there, because of the automated system that we have in our business. That's why it allows for us to be able to do this business, because you only need like 2 to 4 hours max, to do your business every day. So the rest, you can really enjoy with your
Yeah.
family. So um, it's really feasible. And like I wanted to mention, it starts small. Like you have to put some time at the beginning, because you gotta do your training and all that. But and the commission starts small, but as you go through your journey, it keeps growing.
Yeah.
So that's why, a lot of people that started this as a plan B or side hustle, just to make like extra, like for example, 500 to 2,000 or $5,000 per month, now are able to quit their jobs, because this business has surpassed their actual income.
Yeah.
So that's the scalability of this business. But what I wanted to say, now I remember what I was going to say, that I'd rather spend 3 to 5 years working on my business and build it, that working my entire life, and not having that financial stability, or perhaps not having the health that I wanted to be able to enjoy. So that's my perspective, and I think that's a lot of perspective for us that are in this business. So we just want to show you here that, there are better ways to be able to build that financial stability and have that freedom, to work on your own terms. So you don't have to depend on somebody else's schedule, or somebody else's time, of what you have to do, those things. So, um, so that's why we are here. But also,
Yeah.
like, let's see, you love your job, because there's a lot of people that love their job. We have even people in our community that they love the job, and they don't really need to work, but They're
Yeah.
still working because they love their job and they have the business on
Me
the
too.
side.
I love what I do. I love my
Yeah.
industry. I love myself, hotel industry. So I love what I do. So, apart from that, yes, I work. I love, meeting people. You know, just I love my industry basically. So I
Hmm.
work and I'm doing this as well. So
Hmm.
there's no limit what you cannot do. So you
Yeah.
have the opportunity, you have the resources. In this day and age, everyone walks with the biggest phones, and you have Wi-Fi.
Hmm.
So why not?
Yeah. So yeah, so it's feasible for anybody. But what I was going to say is that it's always good to have a plan B,
Hmm.
because in the past maybe it wasn't, plan B wasn't an it wasn't like an option to have it. But I think nowadays, with all the things that the changes that are happening, it's good to have a plan B, because you never know what could happen. You could either get laid off, or you get sick, you have to stop working. Or, for example, there's a disaster. We have seen, how many disasters, across the US, and even in Canada, the fires. So um it's good to have those that plan B, because it will help you to be able to fall back on while you get, established again, in your whatever situation it is. But yeah, it's important to have a plan B. And this business, will adapt to your own schedule, so you can work around, in your anytime pocket that you have. So you can build this on the side while you're still working. So
Yeah,
it is feasible. So the other thing is, that you mentioned, um, yeah, you're doing this, like impacting, the your family, but also impacting, on the lives of others by, sharing your story.
yeah,
Because many times, that's one of the mistakes that sometimes we do. We are so afraid to share our story,
yeah,
because we think that our story is not powerful, or people might not connect with our story. But in reality, yes, there's anyone on like there's someone who will connect with your story on the other
yeah,
side of the screen. And it's good that you share your story, because that person might need to hear what you need to
yeah,
might need to hear your story to be able to change their lives. So um, it's good to share your story, because you will inspire others to be able to take action, or to whatever situation they are, to get inspired that, there is hope for to be able to build that better life for them and their family, and to be able to overcome those obstacles that they're having. Like,
yeah,
we have many members of our community, when they started, they were like buried on that, and they were praying for a solution. And this business came, at the right time, and they were able to pay all those debts,
yeah,
were able to, buy a house for them. Some of them didn't have a house, and pay out their mortgage of their houses. So this is how, the possibilities of this business can do. So there
yeah.
is hope for what you're looking for. And that's why, we are here to share, Jonathan's story with you, so you can get inspired, and find out that, there is something that you can do, there, that you can find out. Like, for example, I've been looking for something like this, 5 years before I found this business. I was like, how can I find something like this?
Yeah.
And I didn't know. So I kept working, until, I had a setback in my industry in 2023. And because of that setback, they turned out to be a blessing. I
Hmm.
was able to find this online business opportunity. So thank you so much for
Wonderful. Yeah.
sharing that. So we have arrived to the end of our life. So thank you so much, Jonathan, for sharing your journey, your story. It's very inspiring. And I hope so that, a lot of people get inspired with your story, because really, we come to this online business because, we are looking for a better solution. We are looking for hope,
Yeah.
uh, you know, to find a way to to what we are looking for. So many people come for different reasons. Some people for financial situations, some people for be able to have more time, with their loved ones. Some people to connect. There's I've been having guests, that when I hear the story, it's different reasons why people start this journey. Like some people, like they felt alone at home, so they wanted to connect with a global online
Yeah.
community. So that's why they started. Or other people, they lost themselves, that light inside along the way. And they wanted to be able to ignite that light. So they were able to do it with this online business opportunity because there is a purpose. You are impacting lives,
That's
uh,
right.
helping others, and also, as you go with your journey, and then when you build that financial stability, you're also able to give back to the community
Yeah.
as a being, grateful for what you have, found and achieved along the way. So it really has a purpose to be able to do this online business, not only for us, but also to impact in other people's life and to the community. So thank you for sharing that. Um, we want to say thank you to everyone that has watched the live with us today. For those catching the replay, thank you so much. To our followers, thank you so much for being part of our journey, for believing in us, and for engaging with our content. If you are watching us from Facebook and you're not following us, you can follow us. Well, you can follow me here, and you can follow Jonathan at John and Jerry. That's how
Yeah.
you can find. So it shows there. You can find them on Facebook that way. And then that way you get to know us a little bit more, who we are, what type of content we post, and more information about the business. If
That's
you're
right.
watching us from YouTube and you haven't subscribed to our channel, you can subscribe to the channel and press that notification bell to get notified when we put new content and when we're going live. So that way you know a little bit more information about this online business opportunity. You keep learning, and when you feel ready, we'll be happy to be here, guide you along the way. So you're never alone on this journey, and that's the beauty of it. You will get all the tools and support to be able to succeed in this business. So, saying that, I want to say thank you to everyone that has watched the live with us today. So, if you want to learn more about this online business opportunity, so here are the three ways that you can do that. You can either put in the comments more info, or you can send us a private message, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Or you can register directly into our websites that appear on the screen, and we'll send you that invitation to watch the webinar, which we happen to have one tonight at 5 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. CST, because you're in CST, correct?
No,
And
I mean MST.
oh, MST. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
MST, and then 8 p.m. EST. So that way, you got the opportunity to learn how our online business plan works, and also you get the opportunity to hear from the panelists, which are members of our community, who will be sharing with you why they decided to start their online business and how this online business has transformed their lives. In addition to that, we also invite you to our private Facebook group, where you get to see more success stories from members of our community and more information about the business. So there you go. You know what to do if you wanna start your online business and start earning online. This is how you will learn how you can do that. So we want to wish again everyone a happy Canada
Yeah,
Day.
Canada Day.
Yes,
Yeah.
to all the Canadians in Canada and outside of Canada, happy Canada Day to all of you. And also, happy and blessed Tuesday for those who are on Tuesday, and happy and blessed Wednesday for those who are on Wednesday, and happy and blessed week
Yeah.
ahead for everyone. So, thank you again for watching, everyone. Thank you again, Jonathan, for
Thank
taking
you,
some of
Sandy,
your
for
time.
having me. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on your page. Thank you.
Thank you. And so, until the next episode of the Real Talk Journeys of Resilience and Success. So tomorrow, stay tuned for tomorrow for another topic and another guest. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. God bless you all.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye bye.
everyone.
Bye bye. Take care. Bye bye.